We're at episode 31. I decided to take it outside. Just the weather is nice. It's supposed to rain in a little bit, and I just wanted some fresh air. If you can hear me, just say yes or hi. Tell me where you're from, I hope, or where you're listening to me. And I hope the weather is nice where you're at. So, today's episode is on could you do it alone? Now, if this is the first time watching the live streaming, I'm an integrative and functional dietitian, and I help people with digestive disorders, IBS, Crohn's, colitis, autoimmune conditions, fatigue, food sensitivities, and a bunch of things that don't seem to be related at all, but they're actually super duper connected. So, it's raining right now. So it's starting to drizzle, so we may have to take this and finish it inside if it pours really heavily. So what really inspired this episode is that I was at the spa and I was actually getting my eyebrows done, and the lady kind of yelled at me because I haven't showed up there for more than a month, and she's like, "What have you been doing at home? You messed up your eyebrows." And you know what? When I looked at myself in the mirror, number one, I looked really much better. For you ladies, you probably know what I mean. When you look at yourself and you're like, wow, I do look different. I do look better than I was. And I did mess it up. So, it's just, like we can laugh about this and, it's maybe not a big deal. But it actually made me think of another thing in my life, and that's why I'm sharing this with you. Piano. Playing music. Now, 3.5 years ago, my husband bought me a keyboard because I've always wanted to learn how to play the piano. Now, I used to play in middle school, and it was very amateur, but it was something that I loved to do, and I never really practiced. It's, it's just something, and it's something I've always wanted to do. So he bought a piano, and I was YouTubing videos on how to learn. I would teach myself some songs. Now, I know how to read notes, but I'm super duper slow. So what I would do is I'll watch a song that I like and try to mimic it and copy what they're doing and do it myself. So, I would get on a roll, I would do it, and I get excited. And then something happens, I'll fall off and never go back to it. So 3.5 years later, and this keyboard is still sitting in my dining room in the corner collecting dust, and it's a toy for the kids that they play with. Now, that makes me really sad, to be honest with you. I have a cousin who is great at playing music, and if you watch this video, you know who I am talking about. And my brother actually plays the guitar, so it's every time someone plays music, I have this little thought that crosses my mind, a little bit of sadness in my heart that it's something that I really, really wanted to do and wanted to learn, but I never invested the right resources in it because I was trying to do it myself. Now, if I had gotten an instructor or teacher, they would show me what to do. They would teach me the right steps. Now, a good teacher will meet me where I am. They hopefully won't teach me how to do Mary Had a Little Lamb. They'll choose a song that I like. They'll give me feedback for what I'm doing right or wrong, because, playing with two hands is really difficult for those of you who are coordinated to play music with two hands. That's so awesome. I feel really, really awesome. So that's an opportunity that I missed on, and the time wasted and the few $100s that I spent on that keyboard is just a waste. Now, what does that have to do with you, or why am I telling you this? As I see people with digestive issues, I'm always a lot of people are trying to do it themselves. They are trying to DIY their health. And, some of that is okay in the beginning. But if you've been trying for many years and you're still not getting results, there's something off, and you have a lot to lose. One example, I did a video on food sensitivity test, and a bunch of people came back and said, how can I order the test, or can I do it alone? And I don't. The answer is no. You cannot do it alone. I know you're educated and you're smart and you can do a lot of things, but you don't know what you don't know. Like, and I'll give you an example from one of my patients who we had his food sensitivity test done, and he was not reactive to cocoa. So he was really excited that he can have chocolate. And I looked at his results again and I was like, no, you can't. That's because he had a reaction to, I'm making sure my keys don't fall, and he had a reaction to caffeine. So cocoa are out of the picture. He also was reactive to tyramine, which is another chemical found in cocoa. So that means that he cannot have this food. And if he did the test by himself and he tried to do it on his own, he's going to mess it up. He is going to eat something that's still going to make him feel sick. And he will come back and say that the test didn't work, or I didn't stick enough with it, or he would have had to spend the money and time, and it would be frustrating. Now, just that simple example of cocoa. Cocoa also has tyramine and histamine, and both can be a problem. And then if you want to try chocolate, well, chocolate can have milk, so you have to make sure, what is the sensitivity to milk. And then there's soy and lecithin. So soy lecithin is also found in chocolate. So even dark chocolate, he has to be careful. And then cocoa has FODMAPs. So if you eat more than 2 tablespoons of chocolate, you're going to have stomach pain and diarrhea and bloating. So it's not just simple. It's not just straightforward. Unfortunately, I wish it was. The other thing is, there are multiple things that are happening. And, again, I tell people, like, when you are a professional at something, when you have experience doing something, you're so good at it. You know what to look for. You know where the problems are. Like, another example is that if you try to do it yourself, you may follow, let's just say you do a food sensitivity test or you follow one diet. I mean, many times I'm layering 2 to 3 diets for the same person because I'm watching out for this component and that component and that other component in their diet. Or like food sensitivities, the test that I order has 170 items. And let's just say, there are tons and tons of testing. So number one, you could order the wrong one or one that's not valid or not helpful. And even if you order a good one, let's just say you test for like the best one, test for like 300, 500 items. You're probably eating thousands, if not more, of ingredients in your food. The preservatives, the chemicals, the things that are derived from corn and soy and the things that you don't know about. And for some people who have skin issues, we have to look at your personal care items and your toothpaste and things like that. So your chances at success become much, much smaller. It's not just what the test comes back to tell you. You are not a number. You are not like a test value. You need to look at all of the different pieces. And then the other thing is that you can do harm. You have a lot to lose. Now, I have lost 3.5 years of not having, learning how to play piano, and it makes me sad. But you know what? What about your health? If your digestive issues, let's just say you have diarrhea or constipation, my patients tell me that they spend hours in the bathroom, going multiple times in the day. That may interfere with their work schedule, ability to go to the gym. Some people have to rush out of meetings, their commute. I had one person tell me that she has to schedule her day around her bowel movements, and she'd rather not think about that and play with her kids instead of, just wondering when it's going to happen. Fatigue, chronic pain. In this time and age, it's not about how much time you have, because we all have 24 hours. It's about how much energy you have to do the things that you want. So if you're in chronic pain or fatigue, and all of those are related to your gut, or you have migraines or headaches, you are not going to be productive. You're not going to do the things that you love to do or be with the people that you want to be. And, maybe, as moms, we may compromise, and you may actually force yourself to get up and do things. But, you're still not at your best. So, I always like to tell people, there's nothing wrong with trying to do it yourself. There's a lot of information, but there's lack of context. When you can read articles and articles and articles and try to put a plan together, but there's so many pieces that you can miss and you can waste time. Oh, another, you can actually hurt yourself. I've talked to people who said, I took a probiotic and I thought I was doing something good, and since taking that probiotic, my digestive issues have been completely out of whack, or I have, done a candida cleanse or a detox or colonic enema, like something that they did, and that messed up their gut flora, and since then they haven't recovered. So you could actually hurt yourself. And for people who want to use like oil of oregano and natural therapies, they could kill your good bacteria too, not just the bad. So you start like loading your system with things. You could be wasting time and money on products. And I've talked to somebody who has spent $2,500 in just 1 year on testing and procedures and ordering things online that never really worked. I have definitely worked with people who spent years on steroid medications and thousands of dollars that they cost them, and they were diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, didn't pay attention, spent thousands of dollars on a steroid, and now they were diagnosed with another autoimmune condition, and that was the wake-up call that this is it, that's enough. So you could do a lot of damage when you don't know. I'm going to give you something funny, and if my husband watches this video, hopefully he doesn't hate me for that, but I stopped asking him to do like projects painting at home. Now he's very handy, he does a lot of great things at home, but when we have like a patching or we want to paint or like change the knobs or handles or something, it takes him too long to start, and when he starts he doesn't finish the project right away. So we have the tools sitting and like half patched and half painted wall, and then he doesn't do the greatest job at it, so you can always tell and you can see the marks. And so I just call the painter when we need work done. When I need the work done and I know I needed to get done right and I needed to get done on time, I just get a professional. So at some point you realize that you got to stop doing things yourself. If you wanted to learn how to sing, you can hire a singing coach. You can hire, if you want to run a marathon, you can hire a coach. I've definitely hired a business coach and a life coach and a personal trainer, like at different parts of my life when I needed the additional help. So there's nothing wrong with that, and it's your way for getting there faster with much, much better results, and you just have so much clarity and feedback. So for all of you who are tempted to do things on your own, it might work if your problem is little and small and you can get it fixed, but for so many people, you definitely need the help. You definitely don't know what's out there, the example is with the painter is, we hired him to go do a painting project, and we discovered that we have water damage. We have a leak in our roof, and we weren't even looking for that. So here's the problem when we're trying to do things ourselves. You may miss really important information and things that could have serious long-term effects. So that's why I encourage you, if you have digestive problems, diarrhea, constipation, stomach pain, and maybe you've been diagnosed with an autoimmune condition, if you have headaches that won't go away or skin issues, they're all connected. And it starts with a small, small trickle of a symptom, and before you know it, it's completely out of control. So don't wait until you reach rock bottom. I have two kinds of people that I work with. One type who they don't reach out until they reach rock bottom. They've been trying for years and years. Maybe they have been trying to put the pieces together one bit at a time. Maybe they've been ignoring their symptom, and before we know it, or like after years, they're just tired of feeling this way, and finally they seek help. And I have other people who just don't want to go through that. They want to get it done right from the first time. And I help both kinds of people. Now, I definitely, absolutely would want to work with them before things get really, really bad and many years of damage, because that will build up. So don't wait until you have chronic diarrhea that's making you take days off from work, or that you stop being able to do things with your family. Definitely that's a wake-up call, but there's so much that you can do to prevent from being in that space. So I think that's it for this video. If If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I love your feedback. Like, what is it that you do that, you like to do on your own, and you're good at it, but what are some of the gaps? What are some of the things that you could use some help with? I wanna maybe make a promise that by next year I will come live on Facebook and do maybe a live video of me playing piano. That would be awesome. What do you guys think? Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are, and I will see you next time. Have a good one.